Silence is strategic power because it preserves energy that would otherwise be wasted on unnecessary explanations, emotional reactions, and public validation. Every time a person speaks without intention, they release focus into the environment and invite interference. Silence keeps that focus internal, where it can be refined, sharpened, and directed with precision toward meaningful action. When you remain silent, you control the flow of information about your life, your plans, and your direction. Information is leverage, and those who reveal too much too soon surrender leverage without realizing it. Silence allows you to decide what is shared, when it is shared, and with whom, ensuring that your vision is not diluted by outside opinions or premature judgment. Strategic silence creates space for thinking at a higher level. Constant talking often replaces thinking, and noise crowds out clarity. In silence, the mind organizes priorities, evaluates options, and recognizes what truly matters. This internal order becomes the foundation for decisive action rather than impulsive movement. Silence also prevents unnecessary conflict and emotional entanglement. Many arguments exist only because words are exchanged when restraint would have created peace. By choosing silence, you avoid being pulled into distractions that drain mental and emotional strength, allowing you to stay centered on long-term objectives rather than short-term reactions. Those who understand the power of silence listen more than they speak, and listening multiplies intelligence. The quiet observer notices tone, timing, and behavior patterns that talkative individuals overlook. This awareness becomes an advantage, revealing opportunities, weaknesses, and truths that are invisible to those who are constantly expressing instead of perceiving. Silence strengthens self-discipline by removing the temptation to seek external approval. When progress is made quietly, motivation comes from internal standards rather than praise or recognition. This builds resilience because effort continues even when there is no immediate reward or encouragement from others. Remaining silent during growth phases protects momentum. Early success is fragile, and exposure can invite doubt, comparison, or sabotage. Silence allows development to happen uninterrupted, giving skills and habits time to mature before they are tested in public environments. Silence also reinforces confidence by eliminating the need to justify actions or choices. A person who trusts their direction does not feel compelled to explain every move. This quiet certainty creates authority, as others sense strength in someone who moves with purpose rather than persuasion. Strategic silence encourages patience, and patience amplifies results. When words are restrained, actions are measured, and decisions are made with long-term impact in mind. This calm approach reduces mistakes caused by urgency and increases the likelihood of sustained success. Silence ultimately shifts power inward, placing control over attention, emotion, and direction back into the hands of the individual. Where progress is guided by intention instead of noise, focus grows faster without noise because attention is a limited resource, and every distraction competes for it. When the mind is constantly interrupted by opinions, updates, conversations, and reactions, concentration becomes fragmented. Removing noise allows attention to settle on a single objective, giving it the depth and consistency required for meaningful progress. Noise does not only exist in the environment, it also exists internally through overthinking, self-doubt, and the need to explain oneself. When these internal distractions are quieted, mental energy becomes available for execution rather than debate. A focused mind stops questioning every step and begins committing fully to the task in front of it. Without noise, priorities become clearer. Many people struggle not because they lack ability, but because they lack clarity. Silence strips away non-essential demands and highlights what truly deserves effort. This clarity directs focus toward actions that produce results instead of activities that merely create the illusion of productivity. Focus strengthens through repetition, and repetition requires uninterrupted time. Constant interruptions reset attention and weaken momentum. When noise is reduced, work sessions become longer, deeper, and more effective, allowing skills to develop and ideas to evolve beyond surface-level effort. Noise often comes from seeking validation, and validation pulls focus outward instead of inward. When approval is no longer the goal, effort becomes more intentional. Progress accelerates because action is driven by purpose rather than the desire to be seen, praised, or acknowledged. A quiet environment also trains the mind to stay present. Presence improves accuracy, creativity, and decision-making. When the mind is not reacting to external stimulation, it can fully engage with complex problems and produce higher quality outcomes. Focus grows faster without noise because silence reduces emotional volatility. Loud environments often amplify stress, urgency, and comparison. Quiet conditions promote calm, and calm allows sustained concentration without burnout or impulsive shifts in direction. When noise fades, discipline becomes easier to maintain. The absence of constant stimuli removes excuses and temptations that interrupt consistency. With fewer distractions, routines stabilize and steady effort compounds into noticeable progress. Quiet focus also builds confidence through evidence rather than affirmation. Each completed task reinforces belief in one's ability, making focus self-sustaining. Momentum grows internally, requiring less motivation and more commitment. As noise diminishes, focus transitions from a forced effort into a natural state, where attention flows effortlessly toward meaningful work, and growth becomes a byproduct of undisturbed concentration. Discipline thrives in private because it is built through repeated choices made without supervision, applause, or external pressure. When no one is watching, actions are guided by personal standards rather than social expectations. This private commitment forms the true foundation of consistency, where effort is sustained by integrity instead of attention. In private moments, excuses have no audience, which forces honesty. Without the option to perform or impress, discipline becomes a direct conversation between intention and action. This honesty exposes gaps in behavior and creates the opportunity to correct them without defensiveness or distraction. Private discipline removes dependence on motivation. Motivation fluctuates, especially when it relies on external validation. In solitude, progress depends on structure, habits, and non-negotiable routines. This trains the individual to act regardless of mood, building reliability into daily behavior. When discipline is practiced privately, learning accelerates. Mistakes can be made, evaluated, and corrected without fear of judgment. This freedom encourages experimentation and refinement, allowing skills to develop faster and with greater depth than when every effort is publicly observed. Privacy also protects focus. Public accountability often shifts attention toward appearance rather than effectiveness. In private, the concern is not how things look, but whether they work. This orientation toward results strengthens discipline because actions are measured by outcomes, not impressions. Discipline in private builds resilience. Without external praise, progress feels slower, but endurance increases. The ability to continue working without recognition creates mental toughness, making effort sustainable even during long periods when results are not yet visible. Private discipline strengthens self-respect. Each kept promise reinforces trust in oneself. This internal trust becomes a powerful motivator, reducing the need for reminders, encouragement, or pressure from outside sources. In private, discipline aligns identity with behavior. Repeated actions quietly shape self-image, transforming discipline from something you practice into something you embody. Over time, consistency becomes automatic rather than forced. Practicing discipline privately also prevents comparison. Without constant reference to others, attention remains on personal improvement. This keeps progress steady and reduces the temptation to rush, imitate, or abandon the process. As discipline continues to grow in private, it creates a solid internal structure that supports consistent action and long-term growth without reliance on visibility or recognition. Confidence requires no audience because it is not built through applause, agreement, or recognition, but through quiet certainty developed over time. True confidence exists before anyone notices it and remains steady whether it is acknowledged or ignored. When belief depends on witnesses, it becomes fragile and conditional. When confidence is internal, actions are guided by conviction rather than reaction. There is no need to explain decisions or seek reassurance because clarity has already been established within. This inner alignment allows movement without hesitation, even when external support is absent. An audience often introduces pressure to perform rather than to grow. When confidence no longer needs to be displayed, energy can be redirected toward improvement instead of image. Growth becomes more honest as effort is measured by progress rather than perception. Confidence without an audience encourages independence of thought. Decisions are made based on values, logic, and long-term vision rather than popular opinion. This independence strengthens resolve and reduces vulnerability to doubt created by comparison or criticism. Quiet confidence also develops patience. Without the urge to prove anything immediately, progress unfolds at a natural pace. This patience prevents rushed decisions and allows skills and understanding to mature fully before being tested. When confidence stands alone, failure loses its power to intimidate. Mistakes are seen as information rather than embarrassment. This mindset increases resilience and allows continued effort without fear of judgment or exposure. Confidence that requires no audience becomes consistent. It does not rise with praise or fall with silence. This stability makes behavior predictable and reliable, strengthening trust in one's own abilities and decisions. Without an audience, confidence becomes grounded in evidence. Small, repeated actions build undeniable proof of capability. This evidence reinforces belief more effectively than external validation ever could. Private confidence also sharpens focus. Without the distraction of being observed, attention stays on execution. This depth of concentration improves performance and accelerates skill development. As confidence continues to develop without an audience, it becomes a permanent internal state that guides behavior with calm assurance and unwavering self-trust. Observation creates advantage because awareness reveals what effort alone cannot. Those who take time to watch, listen, and study their environment gather information that others miss while they are busy reacting or speaking. This information becomes insight, and insight becomes leverage. When observation is prioritized, patterns begin to emerge. Behavior, timing, and cause and effect relationships become visible to the attentive mind. These patterns allow smarter decisions to be made with less trial and error, conserving energy and reducing unnecessary mistakes. Quiet observation sharpens judgment. Instead of acting on assumptions, choices are based on evidence gathered over time. This reduces emotional decision-making and increases precision, especially in complex or uncertain situations. Those who observe closely understand people better. Tone, consistency, and actions reveal far more than words. This understanding improves communication, negotiation, and leadership because responses are informed rather than impulsive. Observation creates patience by slowing the urge to act prematurely. When the mind is trained to watch before moving, timing improves. Acting at the right moment often matters more than acting quickly, and observation reveals when conditions are most favorable. A strong observer notices both opportunities and risks. While others focus only on potential gains, the observant individual sees hidden costs and vulnerabilities. This balanced perspective leads to decisions that are sustainable rather than short-sighted. Observation also enhances adaptability. By constantly gathering feedback from results and surroundings, adjustments can be made early. This flexibility prevents stagnation and allows progress to continue even when conditions change. Through observation, learning accelerates. Every situation becomes a lesson, and every outcome provides data. This continuous learning loop compounds knowledge without requiring constant action or experimentation. Those who observe develop emotional control. By creating distance between stimulus and response, reactions become intentional rather than automatic. This composure strengthens presence and authority in challenging environments. As observation becomes a habit, it quietly builds an edge that guides decisions with clarity, timing, and insight that consistently outperform haste and noise. Results speak louder than words because outcomes provide evidence that explanations never can. Anyone can promise, announce, or describe intentions, but only results demonstrate competence, discipline, and follow through. When results are present, justification becomes unnecessary. Words often create expectations, while results create trust. Repeated action that produces measurable outcomes builds credibility over time. This credibility is not influenced by charisma or persuasion, but by consistency and proof that effort is being converted into value. Results eliminate debate. Opinions lose relevance when evidence is visible. Instead of convincing others of ability, results allow others to draw their own conclusions. This shifts influence from talking to demonstrating. When focus is placed on results, energy is directed toward execution rather than explanation. This creates efficiency, as attention is invested in actions that move objectives forward instead of conversations that provide no tangible progress. Results also simplify communication. A completed task, a visible improvement, or achieved milestone communicates progress instantly. There is no need for elaborate narratives when outcomes are clear and undeniable. Producing results builds internal confidence. Each outcome reinforces belief in one's ability to execute, reducing dependence on encouragement or recognition. This internal reinforcement strengthens consistency and long-term commitment. Results expose reality. They reveal what works and what is not without emotion or bias. This clarity allows adjustments to be made based on facts rather than assumptions, improving future performance. When results accumulate quietly, momentum forms. Small wins compound into larger achievements, creating a track record that commands attention without seeking it. This momentum becomes self-sustaining. Results create respect that cannot be demanded. Respect follows demonstrated value, not declarations of potential. Those who deliver consistently are trusted, relied upon, and sought after. As results continue to replace words, influence grows naturally through proof of action, reliability, and sustained performance that speaks clearly without explanation.